good thing we just washed the sock.
Something they don't tell you in painting school is you're going to be using a lot of paint.
Hmm.
All right.
Welcome to the Fold. I'm Mike. And I'm Ryan. And today we're going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Showtime, a-holes! Screw you, spaceship!
Welcome to the show. We just got back from seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We saw it at the, Dolby Cinema?
Dolby Cinema.
Which was, which screwed up a couple times, actually.
It did, yeah. The screen went black for a second.
Yeah, right in like the middle of the action scene in the third act, yeah.
So Dolby, our review for Dolby is
Yeah, and this is a movie that you want to definitely see in a theater.
It's a long movie.
And you're going to be sitting through the whole credits, so hopefully you have a bladder that can hold up.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's not a spoiler to say that there was like 8 after credits scenes. So whenever you think it's going to be done, it's not done. There's another scene.
Did you like the first Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I love the first one. It was a lot of fun. It was very charming and, you know, had a real sense of adventure and a very fish out of water story for Star-Lord. And this was pretty much the same thing, except he wasn't as new, but otherwise it was like exactly the same kind of plot arc.
I like the first movie. I like that it was like a new kind of Star Wars, you know? It's just a new universe and everything that they get to build and flesh out and stuff. And that's fun.
We have a couple of villains in this film. Aisha, who is the head of the Sovereign.
She's a very sort of powerful woman within this planet. She runs everything with an iron fist.
James Gunn uses a lot of people in like gold paint. It feels like cool that they have these practical extras and or they use practical effects with all the makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of makeup. Probably more so than like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot of CGI, but
although there was a lot of CGI in this too. Some of those exposition scenes.
Like all the landscapes, none of the landscapes were practical.
Yeah.
Ever.
It sort of started to feel a little bit like the prequels to me, where it was just like some people standing in front of a green screen with like a nice background and just talking about whatever.
When Star-Lord's talking to his dad for like the first time and they're playing catch, that was like the most obvious green screen I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
The background looks so flat.
And they just put it into like a 2-shot where they're just like looking in profile at one another.
That was a weird scene. We were talking about that on the way out, how there was a lot of scenes where it was just 2 people kind of sitting profile next to each other, talking about their feelings and giving exposition.
I think that this movie didn't do the backstory very well.
Too much like from the source backstory is what I thought. It was too much, here's something about me, let me tell you about me. And I don't like that.
It's very like unwarranted sometimes too, where it's like, why is this happening right now?
Yeah.
I have to double check if this is in frame.
So the backstory of the Guardians of the Galaxy is told mostly through like monologues, and it's the characters telling you what happened in the past.
Yeah, the one moment of like backstory that I thought they did really well was like a little bit more into Drax's backstory, when she just touches him and she starts crying because she can feel his emotions and stuff, and that was like really nice and felt sincere.
I also liked a little bit of like Nebula's backstory, but
well, see, like her backstory was like, it was a cool backstory, but the way they did hers was she was just like, she's all locked up and she's like, let me tell you about my backstory, you know, like. That's my main problem with it, was they just like forced it into these places that it didn't feel like it belonged, and it just never feels natural at all. It feels like if, you know, if I was Drax and you were someone else and I'm telling you backstory, it always just feels like if you weren't there, it wouldn't have changed the scene at all. Because you're not important. It's just me talking directly to the crowd, basically.
And it's kind of soap opera-ish, too.
Yeah, like because, well, it feels melodramatic because it's someone talking about themselves.
you harmed me in the past, and now you will pay.
And I'm your sister.
And I'm your sister. Yeah, it's like the Marvel universe is turning into like a soap opera. It's like a bad episode of Maury. It really was, because it was all a bunch of family, like,
Dysfunctional family stuff. I think that's what I really like about their characters, is that they're all so dysfunctional. It makes them feel more real.
Well, I think the first movie was about becoming a family. The second movie is about being a family. I think these are characters who have never known any sort of real intimacy. And so learning how to deal with each other in a more real way is what the movie is about.
Yeah. That's like why a lot of people love Iron Man, is because he's such an asshole and an alcoholic that he is. He seems like a more real character, and you know, it's the reason why I've never really liked Superman or Captain America myself, because they're just.
I think that part of it is also
do-gooders.
Chris Prat, because he brings such a presence to it. Like, he has an on-screen charisma that's not like Chris Evans, who just looks like, you know, man meat.
I think Chris is a very unique movie star in that he is a combination of being a big masculine guy, but also a very vulnerable guy.
I like when it's two characters, like usually more minor characters, talking about kind of gossipy what they heard about someone else. I always like when that's a way to reveal backstory. I want to preface everything and say that I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah, that's
I'm picking out the critical points, but
yeah, it was very fun.
It was a really fun
campy
movie,
and
it was a really good comedy. If they just market it as a comedy, I feel like it would suit itself better.
Yeah,
because it is just like a lowbrow comedy, lots of dirty jokes and snarky comments, and it was really good in that sense. And the characters are all really charming.
And everybody has a very specific character too. It's very they're very fleshed out, or they know who those characters are when they're writing it. And that's something that this movie does that other Marvel movies don't, is that
most of them don't.
I feel that
most of them flesh out one person.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It also feels like it's James Gunn, like who's taking this on too. Like, he's the visionary for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I couldn't tell you who directed most of the other Marvel movies, because they're all just so cookie cutter and.
But this one feels like
a little bit of
it's got a style and a definite feel to it.
I wanted to create a brightly colorful film that was even more colorful in the first movie. I wanted to create visual effects that have never been seen before. We have some of the biggest visual effects of all time in the movie. And I wanted to create something that was very stunning and yet had feeling of that old pulp art that I love from like the 50s and 60s and 70s, and just bring that to the screen in a real way.
It feels like Marvel trusts James Gunn to handle Guardians of the Galaxy, and because Guardians of the Galaxy is such an out there sort of thing, it works for him because he's also somebody who's from that sort of strange, quirky background of trauma. And because they trust him so much, it feels like a movie that was crafted by like one person who has sort of a clear vision for where the overall story is going to go.
I think if our audience liked the first one, you'll definitely like the second one, because it's the same thing.
Yeah, even like the ending sort of has a very similar.
They pulled another Jesus, because in the first one they had Groot sacrifice himself to save everyone else, and in this one, not to spoil it, but another character does almost the exact same thing, and it's another tender moment. Well, like in the first one, when Groot kills himself for them, it's because it's like, you know, friendship is the whole theme of the movie. And in this one, the theme is fatherhood. Yeah, father and son.
But it's all very shallow too. Like,
yeah, it's not deep.
It's not going to tell you anything spectacular about fatherhood. It's not going to. You know, your real dad isn't necessarily who your father, you know what I mean?
Who
like
your father figure is.
Yeah. But and then that's all it really had to say.
Yeah.
That was the main theme of the whole movie. You know?
I guess so.
But and that's where most of these Marvel movies don't really hook me into it too much. Like, I go to see it for the spectacle of it, and to watch nice stuff, and to have my emotions manipulated by the music and stuff. But I'm not going to see it to find a new lens to view humanity or anything. You know, I'm not picking up universal truths from Guardians of the Galaxy.
But I do think they're nice themes.
Yeah,
you know, and they're more established than some other Marvel movies. Like, what is Captain America? Like, it starts off as like an
say-
underdog story
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
thing, but then he's not the underdog because he gets all jacked up with the super serum. So then it's like you just ruin the theme.
Bradley Cooper is a great voice actor.
And
for
Bradley
Rocket.
Cooper is a terrific voice actor.
I'm gonna kick you! I'm gonna kill you!
Vin Diesel earns the easiest paycheck ever.
I was just trying to feel what it felt like to be a 7.5-foot tree. Yo soy Groot.
The hardest job these actors have is having to say these lines without laughing at the end of them, I think.
Except for Drax, because that's part of his line is to laugh at the end of them. What's his name? Chris Batista? Tony Batista? John Batista?
John Baptiste?
John the Baptist. Well, anyway, he was my favorite. He was really good. And he's got that big, hearty guffaw.
Yeah, he gets you to laugh at all the jokes.
He gets you to laugh along with him, yeah.
I love being the vehicle for James, but that's really what I am. I am, you know, Drax is the vehicle for James Gunn's just twisted, witty sense of humor.
See, you just told everyone your deepest, darkest secret?
Dude, come on. I think you're overreacting a little bit.
You must be so embarrassed! Do me! Do me! Do me!
What do you like best about working with the cast?
You know, when the days ended and you don't get to see them for 24, about 10, 12 hours, that's my favorite thing.
So in this movie, the kind of ace story is Chris Pratt and his dad meeting and bonding, I guess.
After all these years, I've found you.
And who the hell are you?
I'm your dad, Peter.
But if it was just that story, it would be a very
It's
short
a very
movie.
short movie. That's why I said it's kind of the ace story. It's really an ensemble piece, I guess, because all the stories are relatively short. But when they're all together, it's a movie.
You have an A story between Chris Pratt and his father, a B story between Yondu and Rocket, a C story between the two daughters of Thanos, Gamora and Nebula, and then you get a little
D story.
a little tiny arc of Groot,
Drax.
just growing up a little bit, learning some new stuff.
A little bit of Groot. And I was gonna say Drax and Mantis.
Drax and Mantis, they kind of learn to see the good on the inside. I don't know.
They kind of just
learn to like each other.
they learn to like each other.
They just bond a bit. There's also the people all the way in the beginning of the movie who they offend. There's like a race of people that they were hired by that they end up offending, and they're after them, and they.
It's kind of just like the looming threat the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like these people are going to catch up eventually, and
they propel all the characters to kind of intersect with one another.
A lot of people don't know this, but I do all my own stunts.
Screw you, spaceships!
All right, intensity!
So we're saving the galaxy again?
Yep.
Did you like the music? Are you getting tired of like the pop songs in these? Because now like it's starting to become like a thing now. Like every trailer has a pop song. Like DC's trying to steal this sort of formula with like Suicide Squad having a bunch of pop songs.
if I didn't love the 80s pop so much, I probably would have been a little like, okay, we get it. But I love 80s pop, so I loved it.
Would you recommend the movie?
Yeah, I would recommend the movie. Especially if you like the first one, you'll like this one because they're very similar, and it's very enjoyable. For all the nitpicking we just did here, that's just our cynical sides, I think, because it was funny and it was enjoyable. It was nothing groundbreaking, and it was not a deep movie by any standards, but it was fun, and if you liked the first one, you'll like this one. I don't think you'll get tired of it yet. If they keep doing the same formula for 4 of these in a row, you might get tired of it, but I think at least this one you'll really enjoy again. So how about you, Mike? Do you think you would recommend it to people?
If you're not too into Marvel, I'd say you can probably catch it, when it's on Blu-ray or whatever. I do like that, it does feel like there is a voice behind it. Like James Gunn knows what he wants to do, knows his audience, and has a lot of fun making it, and that kind of translates into the movie, and those are the parts that I really liked.
Do is yell at each other. You're not friends.
No, we're family. Except maybe her.
check it out. It's fun. It's quirky.
I think the paint is probably done, so we can
done drying.
We can start that second layer now.
Oh right, yeah. You have to put the hair in, right?
Yeah, gotta get your hair and get your glasses. They say to always paint the glasses as a separate layer.
Let me get this back here for you.
Sure.
I hope it's okay that it's blue this time. You already put the orange in, right?
This is a black and white picture.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. Does it have sound?
No.
Oh, it's MOS. Gotcha. I can't see very well down my nose.
Can you flex your deltoid?
Yep.
It's the best part of doing movies is like when the day is over and you get to go take a bath.